kick off our time in Milos, we went immediately to go check into our Airbnb. We stayed at Echo's Milos. It's built into this cliffside and it blends in. You can barely see it because all the colors are the same. The designer was also very intentional with keeping the inside of it minimal because the land speaks for itself. Then we immediately went to go find food and our Airbnb host recommended KYRA Milos. We had the best food of our whole trip. We literally still talk about this place and wish we could go back. We started off with some appetizers, so some bread and olive oil. Something that's really fun about it though is that the salt is actually black because it comes from volcanic rock. So that was super fun to try and it tasted delicious. I'm a big fan. If there is anywhere I want to go back to in Milos, it would be this restaurant. We took a little sunset drive back to our Airbnb. The drive was beautiful, however, it was also very chaotic. Many of the roads in Milos are one-way roads, so if you come against, another driver, one of you has to back up until there's enough space for one person to pass the other. That was a little crazy, but also driving the winding roads overlooking cliffs and water was just beautiful. The next morning, we went to Sarakiniko Beach. I am almost definitely saying that wrong, so definitely look up a pronunciation guide. This is one of the most iconic beaches that you hear of when you hear of Milos. It's called the Moon Dune Beach. And the pictures might look a little deceptive. It kind of looks like sand, but this is all rock, hard rock. There's like little tide pools that people were swimming in, and we actually took a hike through the rocks to get on top of the cliffs. And you have to be kind of careful when you do this to remember where you came from, because once we got up pretty high, we couldn't remember how we got there and we were like stuck on top of the cliff. So make sure you provide a way to get down and remember how you go up. We went in the morning, so maybe like 10, 11 a.m. I wish we had gone closer to sunset because I think it would have been really beautiful and if it hadn't been so hot.
Hey cutie, how you liking it?
Everyone will tell you that the Mediterranean sun hits different, and it definitely does, especially when you're on white pavement like this. It bounced back. So good. Our next adventure was checking out the city of Pollonia and stopping for lunch at Gialos. Next, we got coffees and mochachinos. Surprise, surprise, one more time before checking out the beach Planthiena. I have no idea how you say it. We were only there for a little bit before we realized that because this beach is a little further out, it was actually a topless beach. And then we quickly yeeted on out of there. For dinner, we went to this gorgeous little restaurant. It had a cute little cat in it. The food was incredible. Our favorite thing that we ordered was appetizers, which was like this toast with goat cheese and dates. How is it? But our real favorite part of the meal was the incredible view that it had of the island. Day 3 in Milos, my poor sweet husband woke up very sick, so I spent the first half of the day enjoying the view and enjoying the mini fridge that our Airbnb host had for us. And then when Alex was feeling a little bit better, we went to the most incredible beach, to Tsigrado. This beach is so iconic and so much fun, but it is a real hike to get to. You have to park, walk a good ways, then you make it to this like little hole in the ground and you have to crawl through it. It's very tight, and then when you get to the very end, there's a wobbly, rickety ladder that you have to crawl down. So it's quite terrifying, but definitely worth the views at the bottom. This was hands down our favorite beach that we visited in Milos, which is saying something because we ended up going to like 10 or so beaches. So Definitely check this one out. When we got there was like this little cave you could explore that was so cool. The water was gorgeous. And something that really surprised me is the seawater was so clear, it looked like pool water. You know, you could see the ripples and the reflections on the bottom, just like you can in a swimming pool. The way the water dances on the top of the gate.
Coolest beach we've been to by far.
Oh, by far. Afterwards, we visited Firiplanka Beach, which we were actually considerably disappointed in. It ranks pretty well on reviews, but we found it pretty disappointing. It was dirty and not a place that we wanted to spend some time. So we got on the road, got changed, and then decided to go out for a nice dinner. Our favorite fishing village that we visited in Milos was Mandrakia. There is honestly not a lot there, but a tiny little city, and then a gorgeous view of the water and fishing boats. One of the restaurants that is highly recommended is Medusa's. It is supposed to be one of the most incredible fish restaurants that you will ever eat at. So when we got to the town of Mandrakia, we put in our reservation, and then we spent some time walking around under the sunset and taking in absolutely the cutest town that we saw in Milos. We had a blast at Medusa's. I will say we had so much incredible food in Milos altogether. I don't think that I would say Medusa's was my favorite, but we had a great time. The service was very slow. We were there for like 3 hours. Very a chaotic experience, but I'm so glad we did it because I think I would have been disappointed had we not gone there. All right, first bite. Let's see it. What do we think? Yeah? Day 4 in Milos, we started off by popping into the city of Pollonia for, you guessed it, mochachinos. We went to Deck Coffee Brunch and Cocktail, which was this really cute place that turns into a bar at night. This was probably the best cup of coffee that we got in Milos. Woo! Amazing. My number one attraction of the trip was the Papafragas caves. Basically, these are really beautiful caves that overlook the water, and you can swim into a lot of them, you can walk through them. So we spent some time hiking through some of the upper caves, and then we went down and found some spots to swim and enjoy the water on the bottom. I didn't expect this because I really love swimming and I love being in the water, but swimming through the caves was actually really scary because you couldn't see the water, so it was just this black expanse. But one of the caves we got to swim through and then make it to a secluded beach on the other side, and that was so worth it. One of my favorite things about the Papafragas caves was that we got to go cliff jumping, which I was really hesitant and scared to do because you could see rocks at the bottom and it just seemed like a terrifying experience. But my husband Alex did it several times, and after much encouragement from the other tourists, I also did it, and I'm so glad I did.
Nice job.
Because there is nothing like flinging yourself off of a cliff in the most beautiful place. After swimming for a couple hours, we decided to go to Plaka for lunch, which is the capital city of Milos, and honestly, my second favorite little fishing village in Milos, Mandrakia, of course. It is the biggest city that feels the most authentic, I'll say, because Pollonia is very big, it's where the ports are, where the ferries come in, but Plaka felt very genuine, down to earth, and more local. The lunch we had was amazing. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the name of the restaurant, but I really enjoyed looking through the menu. All the menus in Greece had an English translation, at least everywhere that we went, but it was really magical opening up all of the menus and getting to read everything in Greek. And of course, the food was, as always, incredible.
Yes! Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
What on earth? You got like a whole lobster. Yeah, that was amazing.
And just like that, it was time to head back to the beach. We went to Firopotamos Beach next, which was beautiful. We absolutely loved being here. There was this gorgeous old church. The water, I swear, looked exactly like Pirates of the Caribbean, and there was boats floating in it, which really set the pirate scene for me. The water was so clear, probably the clearest water that we saw off of the coast of Milos. Something that surprised me though was it was a bit cold. I knew it was going to be. We went the first week of June, which is the beginning of the season in Greece, the summer season. So we went before the rush of the people, which I'm so glad we did because it was far less crowded than it would have been. But the water was very, very chilly.
Ah, it's amazing.
I generally feel like I'm on a racetrack at times. It's so fun.
Boat tour ready? Pharmacy ready?
Something that really cracks me up about our trip is how many times we ended up going to the pharmacy. The first time we went for sunscreen after being badly burned. Then my husband got the flu, so that was trip number 2. Trip number 3, I cut my toe open swimming in the Papafragas caves.
You know, we've only been married a week, and this is the 3rd time that you have tried to fix my toes.
Time number 4, I got bit by a mosquito and had a really crazy allergic reaction, and my hands started swelling up with all these really funny bumps. So we actually visited the pharmacy in Milos a grand total of 4 times. Day 5 in Milos was our last full day in Milos, but we saved it for something very special. We went on a boat tour to the Kleftiko Caves. Boat tours are something that everyone will recommend when you go to Milos. We had a really incredible time. It was amazing to be able to get a tour of the island from the water, learn about all the different rocks and resources that Milos has to offer. It is pretty expensive, and it wasn't my favorite attraction that we did in Greece, but I would hands down do it again because snorkeling in the middle of the Kleftiko Caves was beautiful. Something super exciting and cool about the Kleftiko Caves, and also a little bit spooky, is that pirates used to hide inside of them, and then when boats would come by with goods and passengers, they would pop out from the caves and raid the ships, which is very scary but also wicked cool history. Snorkeling was so much fun. I found it really interesting how little life there was in the water. I'm from the East Coast, so in the Atlantic, even just on the beach, we see lots of fish, crabs, all kinds of things. But in the Mediterranean Sea, there isn't a lot of life. We saw maybe a handful of fish, not a lot of seaweed, just clear, poolish water. For our very last night in Milos, we went to Hanabi, which is this incredible sushi restaurant. Usually when we go to sushi restaurants in the States, I order a little bit like a baby. We get shrimp tempura rolls, but when we tried to order that, our waiter told us that that was completely the wrong choice and suggested some amazing, very raw fish heavy rolls, and they were incredible. I do not like raw fish, but I wish I could go back to this restaurant because it was amazing. The food in Greece is truly so different from the States. I cannot emphasize that enough. So try things when you go that you don't think you're gonna like because it is a completely different experience. The morning of day 6 marked the end of our time in Milos, but before heading to the airport, we decided to pick up one last mochaccino before we said goodbye to our adorable diesel rental car, Cheryl. It was so fun flying out of Milos. It was the smallest airport I've ever seen in my life.
Welcome to the 25th busiest airport in Greece. This is all the flights leaving for today. Back to you, Alex.
There was only like 4 flights going out the whole day. Every single one of them was flying to Athens. And then when it was time to board the plane, we got to walk straight onto the plane. No gate, just walking right on up to that aircraft, which was so cool. I've never gotten to do anything like that before. As soon as our plane landed, we took an Uber to our hotel room, got a little freshened up, and then immediately went to go eat because we were starving. We went to the Pantheon, which is this really cute family-owned restaurant, and I think it's hilarious because, you know, the Parthenon, the Pantheon, ha ha ha, just a little Greek humor for you.
And what is this again?
Moussaka.
So good. Yum.
Unfortunately, on the day that we were in Athens, there was a really dangerous heat warning. It was 1,000,000 degrees outside. All of the weather people were like, don't go outside. The Akropolis actually closed. So our tickets got pushed back a little bit. So we went to Gelato and it was really good. We had fun eating it, trying to cool down. Something that was kind of funny is that there was no AC anywhere but our hotel. So we were dripping. Then we spent some time at the Akropolis. It really didn't take us that long. We were probably there for an hour. We're not huge history buffs, but we did want to see everything. One of the highlights was getting to see Paul's rock that he preaches on in Acts. That was super cool. I also found a little tiny kitty cat hiding under one of the crumbles of the Akropolis, so I thought that was really funny. At this point in the trip, I had hurt my ankle, so I was walking around in slides, which was really funny, visiting the Acropolis in pool shoes. That was really
This is quite a hike. Do you like my medical shoes?
Your medical shoes are great.
After the Akropolis, we walked around Athens for a bit and got to see some of the architecture, which some of it was really, really beautiful. And then we went to bed early and we used the Greek version of DoorDash.
Last night of our honeymoon.
Ooh.
Oh.
I was absolutely blown away by our hotel breakfast. I don't know if it was our hotel or if that's just the way it is in Greece. Breakfast was absolutely incredible. There was pastries, Greek yogurt, fruit, amazing coffee, all while we had a beautiful view of the Akropolis itself. Thanks so much for hanging out and coming to Greece with me. If you enjoyed this video, you might want to check out our Santorini Greece adventures. We'll see you right back here soon, okay?